The Whole Enchilada, a community of high achievers that fight the status quo, rebel against mediocrity, and make life happen. Let's go.
Hey, Enchilada Nation, excited to chat with you today. It's been an interesting week. This world is moving at a faster pace than it ever has before. I know a lot of us feel some anxiety and frustration around that, but there's also this element of excitement around it. To be honest, there's days I'm in either camp. There's most days I'm really excited about how fast things are moving. I'm learning at a faster pace than I've ever learned in my lifetime right now, which is so exciting. And it also tends to be this feeling of, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, the amount of information I have to consume to stay relevant in today's world. So we talk a lot about this being a skill-based market, and I believe that to be true. However, what skill are we talking about? What most people are equating that to when we say this is a skill-based market, we're saying most people are taking that as just get better at what you've always done. There may be some truth to that. We can refine our skills, but a lot of us are spending time getting better at a skill that is irrelevant. So to be clear, when we're talking about this is a skill-based market, meaning it's a new market, it means you need to learn the skills that are going to help you win in today's market, in today's world. It's a different landscape. It takes a new set of skills. Now, it doesn't mean wipe away all the skills you've learned historically and start from scratch. A lot of them are, it's just a refinement of the skill. But a lot of times what I like to do is think through what is it I must learn to win at a high level and be relevant for my people right now. Today, I'm going to share with you, when I say skill-based market, this is a new skill that I've had to learn in today's market, and it's decision velocity. Now, you may have heard the term decision fatigue before. And what decision fatigue is, the more decisions we have to make in a day, it takes mental energy to make those decisions. Now, we still have to make a lot of decisions. This isn't us saying, or isn't me saying, stop making so many decisions. We have to make a lot of decisions. In a fast-paced world with more opportunities, more relationships, more people, more things to consume, you're just naturally going to have to make more decisions. But decision fatigue can set in, and ultimately, if you're making very important decisions after you've put mental energy into a lot of mediocre or lesser important decisions, you're at risk of making the wrong decision when the decision really matters. So decision velocity is a skill that I'm working on now that actually gives me the ability to make decisions, the right decisions, faster. And some of the decisions are so mediocre or don't matter at all. They've already got to be a pre-made decision that the decision is already done and takes no mental energy. So what I want to walk through today with you is this idea of decision velocity. So right now I look at this as speed is becoming a form of competence. Now, a lot of times we think fast means sloppy, and fast doesn't always mean better. But in today's world, there's this element of fast, responding quickly, being first to market, being first to respond is a form of competence because it starts building trust. So let's think through this. I'm going to share a couple thoughts that I had on this. Speed is becoming a form of competence, not because speed replaces skill, but because in today's market, skill that arrives late often looks like incompetence. So I like to look at the opposites of things. If showing up quickly builds trust and competence, showing up late, even if you're overly prepared or have something overly shiny at that point, you might be too late to the game. You might have already lost the confidence and trust of the consumer or the people on your team. So the future entrepreneur must know a couple of things. Number one is you have to know what in your life you need to automate. What just needs to automatically happen in your world? Number two is what has to happen faster. How do you accelerate it? Number three is what do you standardize? It just says, this is the standard on the team. We hold it accountable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just the standard of the team. And then number four is recognizing what you must slow down on. Because while I'm learning decision velocity and speeding things up, part of that process is also identifying the things that absolutely need my absolute attention, my slow down to where I'm really giving it every ounce of energy and time that it needs to make the right decision. And once that decision's made, all the little decisions behind it, I apply decision velocity to because I can be fast now because I slowed down on the right things. So we'll talk a little bit about what those right things and wrong things are. But where does speed, what we need to answer the question around is, where does speed create trust? And where does speed actually create risk? And it's not always the same answer. We've got to be able to identify that. So what do I mean by decision velocity? I created a definition around decision velocity, which is this: the ability to consume information, filter it through strategy, and make a better decision faster than the market around me. Now, each piece of this is really important because we are bombarded with more information than ever before, and AI just puts it right at our fingertips where we can know things, not to say it's always right, but it's going to give us an answer, and an answer that sounds good very fast. But we have to get the information, ability to consume the information, and then how do we know if it's relevant? We have to have a filter of our strategy, our goals to run it through. So we consume the information, instantly run it through a filter, and then we have to make better decisions than the market around me. If I can do that faster than my competition, if they slow down too much, and even if they make a 10-ounce better decision than I do, they're going to be too late because I've already consumed the information, ran it against my filter, and was able to make a decision at a faster pace. I'm already down the road with the consumer or down the road with the people on my team. So this is decision velocity. Speed is not just how quickly we respond, it's how quickly we notice a shift, we understand what it means, and then we decide what matters and move resources toward the opportunity. To me, that is the equation to win in the new era, in the new, what I call the AI era. It's not how quickly I just respond, it's how quickly I'm perceiving a shift and a change. How quickly can I consume the information to understand what it means by running it through my filter? How quick can I make the right decision? And then am I uniquely aware of all the resources at my fingertip and I know how to apply it to the right thing? So this is how I kind of look at it. I look at on the edges of my world, I got to be very fast. First to respond, first to diagnose, first to schedule, first to communicate, first to the market. All of these things, I got to be very fast. But for me to have the ability to do that at the very core of who I am, at the core of my business, I've got to be so clear on what is my strategy, what is my standards, what is my how do I hold my world compliant? What is my culture, my economics, my partnerships, my mission, my vision? All of these things have to be so solidified at my core that I don't have to make decisions around those every day. They're part of my identity. They're part of my DNA, which if I'm so overly clear on what those are, then I can really react quickly to anything that comes at me on the outside. Fast at the edges, precise at the core. And I break it down into these 4 buckets: information speed, decision speed, execution speed, and learning speed. And they each kind of have their own buckets. Information speed is we live in a world where I can instantly know so much information so fast. And you're probably experiencing the same thing I am. You go to your favorite LLM, you ask it a question, and literally within seconds, it has an answer to you. The challenge is that it's trained to give you an answer as fast as it can and what you perceive, what you think will be the right answer. It's like a Labrador retriever. All it wants to do is make you happy. If it can make you happy, its tail sits there and wags. So it's not about just getting any information to you as quickly as possible. It's the getting the right information, running it against the filter, and then not taking time to decide. I see so many people, there's a couple of people that I coach and work with, that they're literally spending time and energy today trying to make the same decision that we were talking about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago, and they haven't made a decision, which not only frustrates me that they haven't made that decision, but how many other decisions really need their time and energy right now that they're not able to give it because they still haven't made the decision that took their time and energy 6 months, 8 months ago, or whatever it is. And then once you make the decision, you have to execute. I've had an opportunity to rub shoulders with a couple gentlemen from the Special Forces. One of the things they've said to me that I love is the only wrong action is inaction. By not moving and sitting in one place too long, you become a static target. You become an easy shot. You're much harder to hit if you're in motion. It's about being in motion and being okay that you're building the plane while you're flying it. And then your learning speed. I don't care if you have a master's degree and whatever. In today's world, if you are not constantly learning, then you do not have all the tools at your fingertips to make decisions. So what are you doing on a daily basis to continue to learn? Each of these things fall into the category of asking yourself, what can be automated, what can be accelerated, what can be standardized, and then what, again, for me to win, where must I slow down because the stakes are too high? So another filter you could run this through is move fast where silence is expensive, but slow down where mistakes are expensive. So here's a couple thoughts around this of how I think about it. This isn't my complete list, but I'm trying to give some examples so that you understand what I'm talking about. So where must we speed up and where must we slow down? So a couple areas that I'm really focused on speeding up right now is my personal growth and development. I'm spending more time every single day reading very specific, purposeful books, following very specific people, because I know for me to win with my people, there's a couple specific skills that I have to push forward. I have to not only understand how to use AI, I have to understand how it's constructed. I got to understand its decision-making ability. I've built some of my own unique intellectual property of how it's processed to match how my brain works so that I can better serve my people. This is an area I have to be very fast right now because this game is not only coming, it's in play right now. Which leads into number 2 is becoming AI capable. Changing my world in such a way that there's nothing in my world from a tech standpoint, operation standpoint, people standpoint that become the anchor because they refuse to play in the AI world. My technology, everything I have has to be to work within the AI world in which I'm building, which all comes down to what I call my operating system. It's not about which tech tool I'm choosing. It's about what is my operating system and then which tech tools play well within that AI space in my operating system. Number 3 is it doesn't do me any good to know all this information and build it. It's how quickly can I teach and coach my people, my network, to get them thinking the same way so that they can go execute with me. It does me no good as a leader to know all of these things if I don't get my people bought into them because I'm only able to do so much. So where am I slowing down right now? Is I've had to really slow down again and reflect back on my own personal mission vision to say, is that still true to me? Is this still important to me of how I want to show up and the impact I want to have on the world? And are the things that I'm speeding up on still the pathway to accomplish that? Number 2 is I'm slowing down on growing my leadership ability. So I've sped up how quickly I'm learning specific things, but I'm slowing down on leadership impact. And then, which leads into number 3 is nurturing and making sure I'm going slow enough to nurture important relationships. A lot of times when we're moving fast, that is the thing that we neglect, and people take it as you don't care. People take it as the other things are more important. So this has been really important to me while I'm pushing so hard to move fast in certain areas of my life, is making sure that I'm slowing down enough that the people that I love, my family, knows that I love them, I'm here for them. My direct reports within my organizations know it's not just about driving forward no matter the cost, but it's slowing down on those important relationships as well. So as you think through this in your world, number 1 is, as you think about this being a skill-based market, what have you identified the skills you must learn today to win tomorrow? And I would encourage you to put this idea of decision velocity on your list of things that you must learn, because it's something that you can't just show up and do. It's something you have to learn to do. And then start thinking through what are the areas in which you have to speed up versus what are the areas where you need to slow down to make sure you're making the right decision. And then ask yourself the question, where do I need to automate, accelerate, standardize, and slow down? So speed is not the hero. That's not the point I'm making here. It's not just be the fastest no matter what. It's about being responsive. And being responsive is also being responsible. It's showing up quickly in areas that you're prepared to show up quickly at. As I did some studying for this, there's a couple one-liners that I thought were awesome. The first response does not have to be perfect. It has to create confidence. Speed builds trust when people are uncertain. Slowness creates doubt when people are waiting. AI does not replace judgment. It gives judgment a faster starting point. The entrepreneur of the future will not win because it knows more. It will win because it learns, decides, and adapts faster. Slow down where the decision is expensive and speed up where the silence is expensive. Ultimately, the final question is this: where are we currently using human talent to compensate for broken systems? Which is a great question. We can't just throw human talent, including our own, at broken systems. So what needs to become system fast and what still needs to be human deep? It's not, even though we live in an AI era, it doesn't mean that systems, tools, technology take over everything. In an AI era, it's my belief that the systems, tools, automation, information processing is a blessing that we can do this faster. But the point of it is to allow you to be more human, connect more deeply with your people, both in your personal world and your business world. Decision velocity. Go live life on your terms.